Child poverty has now absolutely skyrocketed because the Democrats didn't extend the child tax credit. Joe Manchin was opposed to it. Joe Biden didn't twist any arms. And now you're going to see the results of such a terrible move. The Washington Post says, child poverty spiked by 41% in January after Biden benefit program expired, study finds. The White House was unable to extend an expansion of the child tax credit amid pushback from Senator Joe Manchin III. So again, you can see this is the Washington Post. The number of Americans, here's what they say. Take a look. The number of American children in poverty spiked dramatically in January after the expiration of President Biden's expanded child benefit at the end of last year, according to new research released on Thursday. The Center on Poverty and Social Policy at Columbia University said that the child poverty rate rose from 12% in December 2021 to 17% last month, an approximate 41% increase. The study found that an additional 3.7 million children are now in poverty relative to the end of December, with Black and Latino children seeing the biggest percentage point increases. The overall monthly child poverty rate rose sharply between December 2021 and January 2022, the study found. Democrats in Congress last March approved an expansion of the child tax credit that ran from July through the end of 2021. The program extended payments of $250 per month for children ages 6 through 17 and $300 per month for those under 6 to almost all families in the United States, though the benefits were phased out for wealthier families. It's the means testing Manchin wanted. The program's cost was about $120 billion per year. More than 61 million children in roughly 36 million households received the payment in December, according to federal data. So, there was a 24% drop in hunger for families who got Biden's tax credits, among a range of other improvements in the well-being of poor children. The number of children in poverty went from 8.9 million in December to 12.6 million last month. So millions more kids are now in poverty as a result of this. You can't say enough about how grotesque this is, because this is so fixable. It's the easiest thing in the world to fix it. Yet again, if Joe Biden, and this is the Bernie Sanders approach, this is what he was telling Joe Biden to do, take individual bills and put them on the floor. Individual bills. Expand the child tax credit. Put the bill on the floor. Force anybody who's against it to vote against it. Force Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin to vote against it. Now, if you do it the regular order, you need 60 votes. The Republicans will probably block it. Okay, well, let's see them vote against it. I want to see all the Republicans vote against an extended child tax credit. Let them doom millions more kids to poverty. Millions more hungry kids. Put them on the record. They're for hungry kids. We're against hungry kids. We want to fix the problem. They want to perpetuate the problem. They want to make it worse. Make them vote against it. I mean, the other thing you could do is, I told you, they could extend the chances at reconciliation they get. They could give themselves 10, 20, 30 cracks at reconciliation and just propose that bill as a standalone bill, and then put pressure publicly on Manchin and Sinema to vote for it. And this is one area where if you needed 51 votes to get this through, and you proposed it, and you did a public pressure campaign, you actually might get Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin. You actually might get them. Because this is a public pressure campaign that can work. Because it's very clear what's going on here. Are you pro-child poverty? Is that what you are? Okay, fine. Then show the American people that you're pro-child poverty. This is where you need some arm twisting. You need some swagger. You need a spine if you're Joe Biden to get this done. And they didn't get it done. They didn't get it done at all. Anytime Manchin or Sinema made a peep about dropping this or that from Build Back Better, it was dropped immediately. There was no pressure. It was always backslapping. It was always hand-holding. It was always, JoJo's my boy. We're going to work something out. Well, you didn't work anything out. I mean, at the end, they basically gave him the pen and said, you write your own bill and we'll pass it. And he was still like, here's what I'm in favor of. Nothing. We already got the corporate pork bill, infrastructure bill. So I'm good. Like, that helped my corporate buddies, and I'm good. I don't care about children in poverty. If you're wondering why Democrats are getting their clocks cleaned and they're about to get destroyed in the midterms, this is exactly why. This is exactly why. Sorry, but it's got nothing to do with changing the names of schools or defunding the police or whatever, issues that no national Democrats are even talking about that. Only Cori Bush does. She's the only one. And she won last time, by the way, in her districts. It was a district with a lot of police brutality. This is why Democrats are losing. This is why they're getting obliterated. And you know what? They deserve it. If you can't even get this passed, you can't get anything passed. There's nothing you can get passed. They sat idly by as child poverty spiked. Now remember, I remember all the articles that were talking about, giving Joe Biden massive credit. We cut child poverty in half. Yes, we cut child poverty in half. But everybody was saying at the time, look, this is temporary. This is a temporary change. It doesn't last long. So you want to make it permanent or stop doing a victory lap. Oh, we'll come back and we'll extend it. How'd that go? You didn't do it. So now I want to see all the articles saying this is Joe Manchin's fault. This is Joe Biden's fault. I want to see segments on CNN and MSNBC and Fox News. By the way, Fox News is so useless, they won't even attack Joe Biden for this. Why? Because they only attack Joe Biden from the right and make even dumber arguments than Joe Biden makes. But here he's ripe for criticism. They won't criticize him because they know the Republicans aren't going to fight child poverty. They know the Republicans are on the side of child poverty. The entire Republican Party is pro-child poverty because they're not in favor of extending this child tax benefit. And Manchin and Sinema and some of the Democrats are in favor of child poverty. And even the Democrats who are against child poverty don't have the balls to fight it out publicly to try to get this passed, to make a spectacle, to make a show, to give us even a small chance of passing this. Your government's totally corrupt, totally bought and owned, and that's why people just sitting idly by as this happens. Look, there are a million things the media can talk about. This fighting between Kanye West and Kim Kardashian and what's Pete Davidson doing and all this stuff. This is what the shit the media talks about. Again, we just saw we had 8.9 million kids in poverty, and it just shot up to 12.6 million. Millions more in poverty. By the way, it's a scandal that there was even 8.9 million in poverty. Nobody's even saying that. Keep it real, man. If this program costs, 120 billion, 150 billion, wherever they said, and you could cut child poverty in half, well, that would mean that for another 120 billion or 150 billion, you could eliminate child poverty. So for less than half what we spend on the military budget, for like a third of what we spend on the military budget, you could eliminate child poverty. And the government is not doing that, which means what? They're simply pro-child poverty. Look, child poverty and beyond that poverty is a policy choice. And it's never been more clear than right now. You see the numbers. You see how it worked. It worked to reduce child poverty when they tried to reduce child poverty. Now they're not trying to do it. Not only should they extend the child tax benefit, they should make it so it eliminates poverty. And it's look at how little it is too, and how big of a difference it makes. Basically, even $300 to parents for the kids. That's it. And child poverty plummets. Poverty is a policy choice. It's never been more clear. I mean, it is right there in front of us. It is as clear as day. And not only are they not trying to get back to the status quo of 8.9 million kids in poverty, not only are they not trying to get to zero poverty, child poverty, they're not even trying to get us back to the status quo of 8.9 million kids in poverty. Oh, man. I mean, one of the other sad parts about this, too, is unfortunately segments like this, which are super substantive about the most important issues, they don't even do that well. It is the job of the media, in part, to drive the narrative and make it a substantive moral narrative. And, obviously mainstream media doesn't do that. That's laughable. And, we try to do that, but sometimes keep it real. The most substantive segments don't even do the best. They actually do the worst sometimes. So I hope people care about this. I hope this matters to them. I hope this is as egregious to you as it is to me, because it is, it's astonishing. Really, it is. It's astonishing. We're sitting idly by as over 3 million more kids just dropped into poverty, 41% spike in child poverty. And the real conversation we should be having is, why do we allow for any child poverty? If we could spend all this money on Wall Street bailouts, trillions of dollars on that, trillions of dollars in endless wars in the Middle East with no upsides, $800 billion military budgets every year, And all it would take is what? Less than $500 billion to eliminate child poverty completely, and nobody's doing it. Nobody's even talking about cutting it again. It's dead in the water. You wonder why people hate the government. You wonder why people hate politics. I think I found out why. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal, Kyle, and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.